We are back. You guys are probably used to seeing Julie's face by now, but Julie doesn't do it alone. She has an entire team that works with her, and so I felt it would be beneficial to all of you, especially for first-time homebuyers, to understand everyone that's involved in the home loan process. Typically on the buying side, on the real estate side with realtors, you're really working with me, and I'm going to guide you through that whole process with the contracts and everything from walking through the homes, inspections, the whole shebang. Yes, I'll have an inspector come through, but I'm always there for you. When you work with a lender, oftentimes, yes, you'll hear from Julie, but you're going to hear from other people as well. And so she's going to do a little breakthrough or breakdown of everything that is involved with lending and who you would be interfacing with.
Yeah, so like Haley, I am the loan officer. I'm the team lead. I'm your primary contact. You're always welcome to call me. But you are going to get questions from other people, emails, requesting documents. Primarily my assistant, Paige Eidson. She's, again, going to help me collect documents. She works with the title companies and the insurance companies. So if you do get an email from her, please don't ignore it. If you don't understand what she's asking for, give her a call or give me a call. Again, I'm happy. I don't want you to think I'm passing you off. That's just what she does. The other name you might see is Kimberly Hall. She's my processor. You probably won't have as much contact with her, but you will see some emails from her as you go through underwriting.
So what does a processor do?
So the processor takes the information that Paige and I collect, and she puts it, she ties the bow on it and hands it to the underwriter. If we've missed something, she can, it's just an extra set of eyes between me and the underwriter. It's basically, she runs all the reports, she does all that kind of stuff. Then the underwriter will look at it. You will not hear from the underwriter. You don't know who the underwriter is. But they're the final say. So they're going to look through all the documents. If they have any questions, Kim and I are very proud to get our emails that say your loan has been approved with 0 conditions. And that's not the norm. And a lot of times we know it's not going to be approved because we know there's going to be a final inspection, or we know we're waiting for a pay stub because a raise is coming in. So that's not something that you'll always get, but we like it when we do. So once the underwriting's done, if there are conditions, we get those back to the underwriter. Kim will help. That's when you might hear from Kim if we need to get those documentations in. And then once it's approved, we send out a closing disclosure. So you'll get an email with a closing disclosure, and again, it will look like it came from me, but the closer's prepared that, sent that out to you to be signed. Those are your numbers. Now, I try as hard as I can to make sure that initial CD or closing disclosure is correct. It's final. But that's not always the case because there is information that will come from the seller or the HOA that we don't have yet. So I try to make it as clean as I can. Once you've signed the closing disclosure, you're signing that you have received it, that you acknowledge the receipt. The loan fees are never going to change on that. But again, we might get if the seller has prepaid the water bill for 90 days, they're going to ask you to pay your share of that, or taxes might be prorated, or the HOA has a fee that we weren't aware of. So sometimes that can change. But what happens after you sign the closing disclosure? We have to wait 3 days, and then we can close. So from there, we do what's called a hybrid closing. So the night before closing, the day before closing, we're actually going to email you a link where you can log in and review all of your closing documents. And at that point, they are final. So you'll review them. You can take a screenshot, you can call me, ask questions. Then the following morning, you'll get the same link to the same documents where you can e-sign them. They don't send you the signature possibility until the closing day because we can't have you sign them early. But then you'll e-sign them. And then whatever time Haley has set up for closing, we'll go to the title company. And at the title company, we'll only have to sign the documents that need to be notarized because you've signed everything else. And so it cuts down on time at the closing.
Yeah. Quite a bit, actually. I would say lately we're in and out within 15 minutes.
Yes. And there's usually, as we communicate, if I feel like that maybe you're not going to be comfortable with that you want more time at the title company, we can certainly arrange that. But I do have to say, at the title company, there's not a whole lot of explanation on the forms. They're just sliding them across. So having them the night before where you can actually read them it can be the preferred the preferred thing. After we close, the title company packages everything up, sends it back to my company, and that moves to the funder. The funder gets the final documents, reviews them, makes sure that all the signatures are correct, and all the documents are there, and the contract's right, and the loan approval's right, and then the funder sends the money to the title company, and then they give them authorization to record. So that's
A
how
lot of
that
people
is.
in the works over on
So,
Julie's side.
yes. So yeah, I often refer to myself as the cruise director.
Yes.
Because I don't really do anything. I just make sure everybody else is doing their job.
You're the perfect delegator.
Exactly.
But just to give you kind of an understanding of all that is, that's not to say, like, as Julie mentioned, she is the cruise director. She knows everything that's going on. But the beauty of that is knowing that there's so many people looking at your file throughout the process that once you get to closing, you should know everything that's going on. You've been notified, you've been able to read everything, but also nothing's falling through the cracks because you have so many pairs of eyes looking at it
Right.
throughout the process to make sure that it's getting done the right way, which is really assuring, especially from a realtor's standpoint. You know, when you submit an offer and you have that pre-approval going in, when it has certain lenders' names or certain team, and they know that the team that's behind that getting the loan done, it goes a long way. So lender reputation is huge. The team that works with them goes how am I saying this? I'm not even going to cut this because I want it to be natural, but reputation is key in this market. And when you have phenomenal teams like Julie's team, where they're making sure everything is done up front and keeping fresh pairs of eyes on it, it's the best way to go. So, and that will lead into the next session or the next video that we will be recording, or you'll have with me, is the benefit of using your realtor's preferred lender rather than using, say, a big box or an online lender.